Here's an opinion to really spice up your day. Mitsubishi are a dying company. But Matt, you scream, I just bought myself a new Mitsubishi ASX. What are you talking about? To which I would say, congratulations on buying a 12-year-old car that's gone through a record-breaking 4th facelift. But Matt, you asshole, you're not qualified, you're a car journalist, you don't know what you're talking about. You can't say that Mitsubishi is a failing company. Well, actually, in my day job, I am a business strategy consultant at the world's largest consulting firm. So if there's any car journalist out there that's qualified to say such an outlandish statement like that, it's gonna be me. No, I don't hate Mitsubishi. In fact, I think they've made some of the coolest cars over the last 50 years. Think about all the Lancer Evos they've put out. Hell, the car I learned to drive manual in was a 2001 Mitsubishi Mirage. Jacob's 2001 Mitsubishi Mirage, which somehow and completely coincidentally had a burnt out clutch. I swear it wasn't me. And yeah, I think the cars that they've been releasing recently, like the new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, have been piles of junk. My last Mitsubishi review, I titled it, I don't like it. And what I really wanted to title it was, I hate it. However, I didn't, because I wanted to be invited to the launch of this car, and this might actually change everything. Mitsubishi might actually have a chance at coming back from the dead. I know, I'm skeptical too, but it's the new Mitsubishi Outlander here that can really do that, and they have a chance. That's really the question I'm going to be answering in today's in-depth review. I'm going to be taking a look at the new Mitsubishi Outlander. We're going to look at the exterior, we're going to look at the interior, we're going to talk about how it drives, everything new with the car, and I'm going to give you my final verdict on it and really whether or not this is going to save Mitsubishi. I'm hopeful and skeptical. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so let's talk exterior and we'll start with the front. Man, this thing is a really good looking car, especially in person. I love the LED daytime running lights. This is the top spec Exceed Tourer, so we get these cool LED lights here too, very, very bright. You have the classic Mitsubishi face. You got these huge chrome bits that flank this grille. Of course, it is fully blacked out. Actually, fun fact, the way that you can tell that this is the Exceed Tourer from the outside is that it's got a two-tone paint job. It's pretty cool. Otherwise, it's classic Mitsubishi. They haven't really changed the formula here, just modernized. It's got a very stout front to it, and yeah, I really like it. Actually, something very quickly for you off-road enthusiasts. Yeah, this is not that. Look how much ground clearance there is. There is absolutely nothing. If you do any sort of off-roading, expect that to be ripped off. So, yeah, I mean, this wasn't really ever meant for that, was it? No. Let's go check out the side. Okay, so what about the side? Well, I think that this is one of the best looking SUVs on the road right now. Wow, this thing looks really good. The things I like, well, first of all, you get these 20-inch alloy wheels here, which do look really nice. Right now, it's a very sunny day, as you could probably tell, and this paintwork is just stunning. As I said, Exceed Tourer, so we get the dual tone paint here, and you've got a floating roof design there. Wow, it's floating in the air. Magic. Otherwise, you get your classic little cutouts here to make this thing look bigger than it actually is. And look at the minimal amount of black plastic cladding. Well done, Mitsubishi. Oh, and of course we have keyless entry, except, yep, the key's inside. I always do that. Great success, Mitsubishi. I like what you've done. Let's go check out the back. So what about the booty of the Mitsubishi Outlander? What do I think? I'll tell you what I think. I think it is absolutely stunning. I love the tail lights. They're this super sleek little design. They've got like a 3D effect to them too. Again, this paint, it just pops off. Get it in this color. Whatever this is, white of some nature, get it, it's good. You got heaps of contrasting materials, a little gray here, a little fake scuff plate here. You got your classic badging. You've got your Outlander badge there, Exceed right there, and look, your little Mitsubishi logo. And let's not forget the super all-wheel control here. That is Mitsubishi's all-wheel drive system, as we'll talk about later, but if you look at it, it says Source. Hey. And then of course we get a roof spoiler here, like any good SUV, to provide 13 tons of downforce. But man, in all seriousness, this thing looks really, really good. I love the way that this thing looks from the rear, especially. Man, Mitsubishi have absolutely knocked it out of the park with their design of this thing. It is so much nicer than the outgoing Outlander, which was so long in the tooth. Way better. Now, excuse me here while I set up for my next shot. In, you push everything back.
Mitsubishi dying company. Shut up, Matt. Shut up, Matt. Idiot. Idiot. Imbecile.
Okay, here we go. Let's talk about boot space. So to get into the boot, we can either use the key here, or we can just press a nice little button here. Powered tailgate, very cool, very swish, though kind of expected. Here's my backpack with the third row up. There's like no space back there. Now there's a little bit of space. Yeah, this is not the biggest 7-seater out there, but if we put down these seats here, you can see I have very limited time with this car, okay? I feel stressed. There actually is a pretty decent amount of room back there, like quite a substantial amount actually. And then if we want to drop the second row here, it's really easy. We just press that. We just hold that, and we just do the same thing for here. Except we have to move the front seats forward because they're stuck. Hang on. I think what's happened here is the front seat has what's called comfort access. So it'll slide back when you open the door, so it's easier to get in. But as a result, I think it's pushed the seat all the way back. So that might be a bit of an oversight there, Mitsubishi. Might want to think about that one. Push it back forward. Yeah, okay. So what's it like once that is out of the way? Well, it's actually pretty good. You get a pretty good amount of room back there, actually quite a substantial amount. And it's a relatively flat loading area. Pretty practical. Okay, let's check out the interior because frankly, even I can't believe that this is a Mitsubishi. It's amazing. Okay, so the interior, this is the part that I'm most excited to talk to you guys about because frankly, this is where Mitsubishis have been falling apart most over the last like decade. I'll be honest, the interior is frankly unbelievably good. Now, I'll preface this by saying this is the Exceed Tourer. So we get the nicest interior here with the two-tone leather, but we'll talk about that. The reason I chose this one is because I really wanted to see what Mitsubishi could actually do. It's still really nice across all grays, but this just takes it to another level. So as I said, we have the two-tone leather in here, so we get this brown and black leather, and it's everywhere. Everywhere that you touch just feels so good. Attention to detail is spectacular. You've got these like beautiful little leg rest areas here. You've got this really nice like diamond quilted stitching on the doors. It's so soft and supple. For the first time ever, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Mitsubishi actually give it. Yeah, you get your black plastics here, but it's really not as bad as I've seen in other Mitsubishi cars that you just get scratched after like 1 kilometer. This is still holding up surprisingly well. You've got like this knurled metal finish here. Hell, even the shifter, it just feels so good. This is worlds better than any other Mitsubishi ever. There are some still just strange design choices. Like they go with carbon fiber, fake carbon fiber on the doors. Why? This is like anti-sports car. It's almost offensive to put that in here. And then you've still got your hard, scratchy plastics dotted around. But for the price point of this car, I just couldn't care less. It's that nice. So in terms of practicality, you get 2 cup holders in the center, you get 2 more in the doors, and the door bins are a pretty big size. Glove box, that's pretty good too. You get a little storage area up front for your phone. Oh wait, that is a wireless charger, which is really good because this thing does have wireless Apple CarPlay, but no wireless Android Auto. Whatever. In terms of I/O, you get a USB-C port, a USB-A port, and a 12-volt socket. All lovely. And of course I forgot the glove box. Hey, decent size, nothing spectacular. God, these are massive. these are huge. It's bigger than my head. Oh, and of course, you get your sunglass holders up there. Oh, and you also get a little storage area next to your leg as well. It's super practical within here. You kind of hope that though for an SUV. Major shout out to these seats. Oh, they are so comfortable. They're really, really good. You get an extension of the diamond stitching on the seats too. They look super premium and they are super, super supportive, like surprisingly so, without, choking you to death with massive bolstering. Oh, and the seats are heated, not cooled, bit of a shame. And they are memory seats too, so that's nice. Now, being the Exceed Tourer, you get massage seats. So let's turn that on. It is the worst massage I've ever had in my life. I'll tell you what it is. It's the lumbar support going in and out. It's just like going up like that. And yeah, maybe it helps circulation like a little bit, but I'll tell you what it feels like. It feels like someone's blowing air on my back. It's really not that great. Definitely, it wouldn't be worth the upgrade to the XC Tourer on its own, but the rest of the interior 100% would be. This steering wheel doesn't actually feel ancient anymore. One of my biggest issues with Mitsubishi is that you hold onto the steering wheel all the time, right? And yet they give you the world's worst steering wheel. This is not that. Kind of feels like a Golf steering wheel because it's got like this perforated pattern to it. Feels really nice to hold in the hands. The buttons are actually pretty decent. Another big thing is the stalks here. Now, you might be thinking, oh, that's tiny. Well, who cares about that? One of the biggest issues with Mitsubishis right now is that all these little small crappy things build up and make the cars just feel like they're from 2001. These, they feel really good. And you use this steering wheel here to control the digital instrument cluster. Now, only higher grades come with this, but it's a really good screen. It is one of the best I have ever seen on any Japanese car. They usually suck at this. But you know, it's super responsive, high definition, very, very color accurate. And frankly, it's just really nice to look at and it's beautiful. What else is great is the heads-up display. It's actually good. Again, it's super high definition. It's like over 10 inches. It's massive. And yeah, I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised. You know what? I've just found the menu for the lumbar massage. And let me tell you, it's actually pretty good when you actually play around with the settings. So I take back everything I said. It's a pretty decent system. Here at Matt Brand Cars, we admit when we're wrong. Probably the biggest letdown of this entire interior is the infotainment display. First of all, it's really not the biggest out there. It's like a decent size. That's nitpicking. My biggest issue is that it's actually quite slow. It's really slow to respond. It feels like it came out of a car from the 2010s. It feels like it came out of a Mitsubishi is what it feels like. Thankfully, it is very practical: digital radio, navigation, Android Auto, and wireless Apple CarPlay. And you get your physical buttons here, so it's pretty easy to control. It's just slow. Whatever, I can live with that. And then a special mention to the Bose sound system in this car. Sounds phenomenal, really, really good. And the air conditioning controls, they are just super intuitive, easy to use. They're all there. You don't have to go through this laggy infotainment screen. Thumbs up. Oh, and of course you get a panoramic sunroof. Very lovely there too. It's really quite nice, quite airy in here, you know? All right, let's close that. It's getting hot. It's very hot. It's a really hot day today. Let's check out the rear seats. Okay, so the back seats, what are they like? I'm speechless. I'm speechless. It's, again, a really nice place to be. First thing I noticed was that you actually sit quite high. It's kind of like stadium seating, so I can see really easily over the seat in front of me. So that's good, especially for longer trips. It really reduces car sickness. At 5'11", I've got heaps of leg room, heaps of toe room. Ah, my neck. Great headroom there too. Again, it's a really hot day, so I'm gonna use my third zone climate control to change the temperature. How cool is that? And the outboard seats, they're also heated. That's cool. You've got a couple of pockets up here and here. Again, quality, it's just as nice in the back as it is up front. You get diamond stitching in the back. You often don't see that. And also soft touch material here. Again, you often don't see that. Do the windows go all the way down? Oh, don't buy this. I'm joking, it's not that bad. And look, you got your peasant blockers here. Stops people from looking in, and the sun. Stops the pervy sun from looking in. Something genuinely wrong with me. I'll tell you what, back here I'm appreciating this panoramic sunroof because it does just let in a lot of light. Much area in here makes this thing feel so much bigger than it actually is. You could definitely fit 3 people in here. It's actually quite a wide car, and it is bigger than the Outlander in every dimension. It's got a longer wheelbase, and that just means you get more space in the back. So you're a surprisingly nice car. And when you don't have someone sitting in the middle, you have your little armrest here, which it's almost like an extending armrest, and you get your cup holders here too. Really nice place to be. A couple of other things too, yes, you can slide these seats. The whole car's moving. Try not put on the brake. Oops. And you can also recline the seats. Ooh. Yep, love this thing, absolutely love it. What I'm not gonna love is getting into the third row, because yes, of course, this has a third row. Let's try that. I'm terrified. Okay, so to get into the rear, it's a challenge. The way we do it is we pull this forward and then we can slide the seats. But I mean, the roof is kind of low. Wish me luck. Oh my God. Oh, this is not ideal. Let's pull this back. Look. You can make it work, but I will tell you right now that the rear seat passengers here, yeah, they've got no leg room, so you'd have to have a few like toddlers Talking like 6 months old to be able to fit back here. It's doable, but in a pinch. You do get a couple of cup holders, that's pretty nice. You get a little storage area here too. Oh, and this is my favorite part. Where are the headrests, you might ask? Well, they're stored in the back. Look at these. they're enormous. Oh, it's the little things. It's the little things. Also, there is a 12-volt socket here, so you can charge like one device, but that's about it. It's okay. Let's talk about specs. So the Mitsubishi Outlander starts at just under 34,000 Australian koala points for the ES two-wheel drive. However, as I said, this is the Exceed Tourer, which means that it starts at just under 50,000 Australian ScoMos, and you get all-wheel drive as standard. Now, all the models have the exact same engine, which is a bit of the low point, if I'm being totally honest. It's a 2.5 litre 4-cylinder. It is naturally aspirated. It is an all-new engine, so that's pretty cool. Sadly, however, it pumps out 135 kilowatt of power and 245 newton meters of torque. For a 7-seat family SUV, that is woefully underpowered. But what better way to talk about that than by launching this thing to 100 kilometers an hour? So let's see how quick it is. Okay, so we're gonna launch the new Outlander. Yeah, this thing is not very quick, but I wanna see how not very quick it is. So to do that, let's put the car into tarmac mode, which is its way of calling its sport mode. We'll put the car into drive, of course. All right, let's launch this bad boy. Foot on the brake, floor the accelerator, off we go. Yeah, not really. Okay, 0 to 100 in 10.8 seconds. Seems about right. This thing is, yeah, not very quick. I wouldn't call it the quickest car in Bikini Bottom. All right, let's get back to the specs. By the way, guys, if you have been enjoying the video, please do go down there, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and the like button because, you know, it really helps the channel out. Thank you. Anyway, there is a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, a PHEV, coming out sometime early next year. So make sure you subscribe for that, of course, so you can see as soon as that one comes out. Should give you a lot more power and a lot more torque than this. I'm not gonna call it a bad boy. I'm gonna call it a bit of a wimp. Now, at the beginning of the video, I said that this car is all new, and really it is all new. You see, Mitsubishi have actually gone into an alliance with Renault and Nissan. It's called the Renault-Nissan-Mitsubishi Alliance. I know, what an outstanding name. But essentially, all these dying companies have come together and said, let's not die. And now they co-develop cars and share market research, things like that. Really smart idea, because this is now built on a brand new platform, combinedly built by all three. And so this actually has the same underpinnings as the new Nissan X-Trail. Again, subscribe for that. That's coming very soon. And as you'll see in the drive, this new platform uses actually a lot of high quality components and makes this thing no longer a Mitsubishi, but this thing could literally rival a BMW in just how it drives, with a lot of asterisks there, but you'll see, it's pretty amazing. Actually, let's just go for a drive. Okay, so what better way to start this segment than by taking it on the highway? So let's see how quickly we can get up to 100 kilometers an hour. 90. 100. This thing is not quick. This thing is like the opposite of quick. It's anti-quick. But the biggest thing that I've noticed really driving in this is, one, how insanely comfortable this thing is. It has to have one of the best suspension and damper setups in its class. Not for taking corners hard, but for just driving straight and cruising around town. This thing is super comfy. There's a bit of wind noise, but it's on the most part quite quiet within here. And this is really where I'm starting to feel the niceness of the interior and the quality of the materials. I really do feel cocooned in luxury right now. And this is a Mitsubishi. I never thought I would be putting those two words together. Let's test out some of the self-driving features. So I will put on our adaptive cruise control. That's keeping us a safe distance from this enormous truck in front of us. Oh, that's funny. It shows the little Mitsubishi Lancer up in the gauges. The car they discontinued like 6 years ago. And of course, this thing does have pretty much every new safety system under the sun, which is really good. And that was an area that Mitsubishi have historically been lagging in, but this is doing a very good job at that. Wow, I'm super impressed. Okay, so as I come off the highway now, something I'm noticing is that the steering is extremely light, yet somehow very twitchy. So I'll turn here and, I'm not putting in much I'm not putting in much feedback, but it's giving me a lot back. So it's a bit of a weird feeling. And to be fair, that could also be their super all-wheel control system, their source, as they probably don't call it, but I will. It's essentially the next iteration of their all-wheel drive system. So their all-wheel drive system has been updated, and it is one of the best out there because it is a permanent all-wheel drive, but it's almost like a four-wheel drive in how it operates. So it's a really good system, a very smart system, and not one you would expect on this kind of car. To be frank, in a car that has this little power and this little torque, you really don't need all-wheel drive. It's not like you're ever struggling for traction anyway, but it's still nice to have, and it gives you a bit of confidence. I will say there is quite a bit of body roll, not unexpected, and as I said, this thing is clearly tuned for comfort because it is just super duper comfortable. So we try and get in front of someone by giving it some sauce. That didn't work very well. Yeah, this thing is really slow, very, very slow. That's really my biggest disappointment with how this thing drives. It just, oh, I know I'm harping on, but it is slow. It is really, really slow. Most people, you're not gonna care, and it feels pretty well tuned for the amount of power that it's got. I've noticed that the accelerator pedal is very touchy. So yes, as you might be able to hear, this thing has a CVT, a continuously variable transmission, and it's got 8 simulated gears. Thankfully, this CVT is surprisingly not too loud, not too noisy. And actually, I'll be the first to admit that with this engine, it's a pretty good pairing. And so to keep this car in its peak power band when you really need it, and you're not just pottering around town, it's good to have. And even though this thing isn't a proper off-roader, the fact that it does have a really good all-wheel drive system that's quite configurable means that you actually get quite a few different driving modes. For on-road driving, we have Eco, Normal, and Tarmac. Tarmac is what they call their sports mode, a bit of a weird name, but hey, they use that. And then for off-road, we have Gravel, Snow, and Mud. And what that really does is adjust the super all-wheel control system and traction control to give you, the best traction off-road. But really be careful when you take this thing off-road because it's not a proper off-roader. That's my word of advice. But yeah, overall, I'm really impressed with how this thing drives. It's slow, but it does a really good job for what 99% of people want, which is being a comfortable family car. And it is just a remarkable improvement over the outgoing Outlander. So yeah, well done, Mitsubishi. Let's get into the final thoughts. So what's my final verdict on the new Mitsubishi Outlander? This thing is an absolute winner. The only real fault I have to this car is that it comes with a powertrain that feels like it's meant for a snail. But here's the thing, it is naturally aspirated, so it's gonna be more reliable. This engine will probably last the test of time because it's developed by Mitsubishi. With this thing, you get a 10-year warranty. It is a luxury car on the inside. I don't say that lightly. This thing is amazing on the inside. Such a nice place to be. And yes, I wholeheartedly believe that if Mitsubishi can keep making cars where they give a shit, because the ASX sucks, the Outlander, the old one, sucked. After a decade, they just get old. This, they care. They've done something good. Keep it up, Mitsubishi. You've made an amazing car. And it's well priced too. I really can't fault it. I love this thing. I think this is a great car. Go out and buy it. I'm usually the one to be like, keep money in your pockets, invest it somewhere else. No, buy this thing. It's so good. Yeah. That's it. That's all I've got to say. Well done. Now, if you guys did enjoy the video, you know what to do. Go down there, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and please do like the video. It really helps the channel out. Comment down below. What do you think of the new Outlander? Is it gonna revive Mitsubishi? Bring them back from the depths of death? Hopefully they make a new Lancer Evo once they get enough cashola, so please. Of course, share the video with a friend, and as always, I'll see you next week.